Morning, agents. Hope you guys had an awesome weekend and ready to get back at work and continue to kick butt on the phones this week. This is my second video, and I'm really glad to do this. I have two big topics I want to go over today. Shouldn't take too long. The first one that I want to talk to you about is AAD, attacking anxiety and depression. I, along with the other MCs, have been getting a lot of messages and calls from agents asking to be turned off on this product. And so I've spent some time asking them why they're looking to be turned off. It's obviously a very lucrative product, makes a lot of money on the phones. And so I'm always very curious to hear why they want to get turned off on it. I'm going to go into that. So I got some, they gave me some great responses, and I put some thought into what you as an agent can do on the phones to really combat this that you're dealing with that makes you not want to take AAD calls. However, I want to start with talking about asking to be changed on your routings. I just want to reiterate, we don't change routings for any other purpose than the needs of getting the phones answered. And so I would strongly advise that you do not ask to have your routings turned off, especially turned off, or adjusted. If you have a question about routing, you can, of course, email your MC, but routings are based on a mathematical configuration. I'll just reiterate that. You're routed low if your conversion is below a 5. You're routed on medium if your conversion is between a 5 and an 8, and you're routed on high if you're an 8 and above. And so if you want to change your routings, sell more, right? And then, of course, traffic will keep people routed. They might have everyone routed on medium and not routing anyone on low. So they make adjustments as necessary. If you have any questions about that, you can refer to your MC. But the question is, why do people ask to be turned off on AAD? And the reason that they ask for this is because they get bogged down with all the information that they're collecting from this customer. And so I'm going to just throw an example. This is just a complete example for you. For example, a person might call and they are depressed, and we ask them what they're dealing with, and they tell us that a year ago, maybe their son committed suicide or something like that. I mean, that's a horrid thing, and we have to deal with that, and that's really sad to hear about, right? And so we get burned out by taking these calls and dealing with these issues. And what we need to do is what I do. I just want to share kind of the reason why I love taking AAD calls and why it's not a big deal for me to take these calls, and share that with you. Okay? So it's the needs section that creates fear, right? And because we go through that needs section, we understand why they're calling. It creates some fairness because we don't really want to know. And so what happens is we get fear and we blow those calls, and we start to get burned out on those calls. The secret here is to narrow down your questions. If you remember, we ask broad questions, right? And then we narrow those questions down until we get a question that, until we get the specific reason why they called. In this example that I've given you, the reason why they called is not because their son committed suicide, right? It's because they are depressed and they have anxiety. And so one thing that you can do is you can narrow down the questions. What are you dealing with? There's a big difference by saying, what are you dealing with? Because then you open yourself up to have all that information being given to you. And that's on the forefront of their mind to begin the call. So it's not something you need to really wallow in with them, but you can ask them, so are you struggling with anxiety or depression? And of course the response in this scenario would be, I'm struggling with depression. It's not necessarily why they're struggling with depression that we're looking for. It's the fact that they're depressed, and that depression affects their daily life and the things that they go out and do. And so by correcting that depression, which this program will do, we give them their life back. And so this is just one thing I do. So I don't ask a person why they're depressed, why they're dealing with these issues, what's caused these issues. I ask them if they're depressed, and if they're depressed, I ask them how long they've been depressed. and how it affects their daily life. Can they go to work? Can they go do these things that they want to do? And I keep my questions very confined to getting specific answers that I want, and not this really broad so that they just sit there and talk and give me information that after call after call after call can take away and tear on me. So this is just something that you guys can do that will really help you get in and understand uh, an easier way for them to give you the information that you need to uncover that need, which is anxiety and depression, and not necessarily what caused that need, because we're not going to fix the problem that her son might have committed suicide a year ago. We're just going to fix the depression that she has to deal with today. And so you can keep the conversation revolving around that. So again, just narrow down your questions, and if you get burned out or if you start to get, if it starts to feel heavy on you, narrow your questions so that you're keeping it specific to the answers you're looking for, not necessarily what they want to just spend 20, 30 minutes talking about. This is how you control the conversation. You control the questions. And so that's just one thing that you can do. The second thing I want to talk about with AAD, and it's really exciting, is this downsell. This downsell is an unbelievable opportunity for you guys to just set your jaw and say, I will not let them off the phone without at least the $4.95 today and the $39.99 for the program. It's going to help them, and they need the help, and you've discovered that with them. And so we really want to bring some focus. Imagine it can drive your numbers, and on top of that, some upsells. Once you get that downsell, you can push the upsells to really increase your commission on an astronomical level. Now, obviously, we want to push the main offer and get that offer through as much as we can, because it's the best chance they have for overcoming their issues. But I don't know how you could let anyone off the phone and just say goodbye without them having to take this downsell of the $4.95 plus and then 14 days from now paying that $39 and then owning that program. So those are two things on AAD that can really get you excited about taking this product. The biggest problem is the product can create fear for you, and if you're going to create fear, you're going to lose your confidence. And like Marion said, when you did training on AAD, if you need your magic armor plus 5, you've got to have the confidence that you just bull rush them when you get to the point that your fear starts to take over. And so if you're letting this needs section really create the fear because you don't want to talk about that, again, use the questions that will give you the power and take control of this conversation. The second thing is we had a great training with the RAMP agents, and we talked about success management in kind of a different light, and I just wanted to share that with you guys because we're really trying to bring this to the front of the agent's mind. And it's been a long time since you guys were at new hire trainings. You've been doing this job for a long time, and it was great to meet with his agents after 6, 8 weeks, 4 weeks, after they had had some time, and really have a discussion about what the cans mean and what these things can do to help them become successful. And they had fallen into the same ruts as ramp agents that we fall into as agents, right? That biggest rut that we seem to fall in is we begin to measure success by getting sales, right? And so we had a great discussion about this and about the cans, and it was almost like, new information, like Marion says, at every new hire. This stuff is going to go right over your head, and then, a couple weeks later, someone's going to bring it up, and it's going to begin to come back to your mind and begin to make a lot more sense. And that's what these ramp agents had happen to them, and it was a really good experience. But I want to create a visual in your mind as you guys go throughout this week, and I think this would be a great focus. And that is, to quit looking at the sales, quit looking at your commission tool, quit looking at these things that you are currently judging as your measurement, and challenge yourself to try and create some success. And in turn, we know that creating that success will build our confidence, right? Why is using sales as a measurement for success a problem? Why is that a problem? It's a great question you should ask yourself. The problem is we need to be successful. Why do we need to be successful? Because success breeds confidence. And of course, once you get confident, you begin to breed more success, which in turn breeds more confidence. And so I just want you to imagine a gauge where on this gauge you're set at a level of confidence. And I want you to think about the very best agent. And let's say that their success measurement is sales, right? And so let's say that they convert 40% across the board, and that is very, very, very good, right? Very, very good in this company. And I want you to think about the success measurement. They take a call, they get a sell, and because it's a sell and that's the measurement of their success, they increase in confidence. And then they get another call and it's not a sell. And so instead of feeling successful, they feel like a failure, right? And so that breeds fear, because failure breeds fear. We try something and we fail at it. It makes us afraid that we're not going to be able to accomplish it. Even at an elite level of just 40% across the board on our products, which again, that is very, very good conversion. You're only building confidence 4 out of 10 calls, and you're building fear or losing your confidence 6 out of 10 calls. That's the problem with this job. The problem is if that is your parameter of success, you are constantly building and reinforcing fear, right? Because for every no sale, so if you take Rosetta Stone, for example, if sales is your measurement of success, then you are building confidence 2 out of 10 calls if you're good, and you're building fear 8 out of 10 calls if you're good. You're building that fear. And eventually that's going to burn you out, and that's going to make you exasperated, and that's going to do what we say where you get frustrated with this job. And so this week, what I challenge you to do is we want you to find the things that you can do on every single call so that you're building success 100% of the time. You take 10 calls, you build success 10 out of 10 times, not just 2 out of 10 times, and lose all that you build out of the 8 other calls, but you're building that success every single time. And you guys can share this. There's an easy way to do this. This is where the cans come in, where we set a focus and we say, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to measure my success so that when I get done, if I took 30 calls, I built my confidence 30 out of 30 times. And that is where we begin to be successful. And it's a natural result. It's a natural result. We expect to see natural results. And sales are just results of the things we create success with. They just improve our chances of getting sales. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be successful on every single call because we know if we do that, it improves our chance of getting the things we want. And in this case, of course, that is sales, right? Sales equals commission equals a bigger paycheck. That's why we're here. We all have things that we want, and we know that Plus One can be a venue to give us those things, and that's what this is all about. So I really wanted you guys to have an opportunity to get in and think about this week. Share this with your SM. Share your focus. Tell them how you're going to be successful on every single call, on every single shift, and really be focused on those things and talk about those things in chat. And I appreciate all you guys do. I can't wait to see how this week goes, and I appreciate the time and you guys put in and the hard work, to get on these phones and take calls. And I look forward to seeing you guys throughout the week. So have a great week, and thank you very much for listening. See ya.